In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. I'm your host, Emanuel Rose. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Steve Fuhrman, the CEO of 4Pillar Coach. Steve is a visionary leader and published author, renowned for his expertise in helping small to mid-sized companies harness the potential of artificial intelligence to drive efficiency and sustainable growth. With a remarkable career spanning the founding and scaling of 6 technology companies, Steve brings invaluable insights to the table. His approach, which he describes as AI with intent, is informed by his disciplined background as a U.S. Marine. Through strategic leadership and commitment to transformative practices, Steve is truly a thought leader in AI-driven business solutions. Let's dive in. Steve, thank you so much for taking some time to spend with me.
Thank you, Emanuel. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Well, tell me about your book and about when you started writing it and when you published it.
Oh man, my book started actually, I'd say about 14 years ago. I decided I was going to write a book.
Okay, well, that's a nice project, huh?
And I actually wrote it down because if you don't write it down, it normally never happens. Even though mine took, a while to happen. But I finally decided, I finished it in November. So I guess November prior year, 2024, I started writing it. And it really is a book about me. It's how it started. This is the book, Just Get Up and Drive. Drive is for determination, resilience, innovation, vigilance, and endurance. It's about having the grit to get back up again when you get knocked down. It's about, having the right mindset, not letting head trash stop you from achieving your goals or what you're trying to get to. And when I'm writing this book, and I figured if I can help just one person, that would be great. And I really didn't realize I was writing it about me. I was helping myself as much as I'm helping others. And a guy sent me a snapshot of the book on his lap, and he was looking at a page on the book, and he said, I always read your book before I go into a sales call. It gets my mindset right. And thanks for sharing it with us. So that was really cool. But yeah, it's called Just Get Up and Drive. It's on Amazon. And this is a bit about how to not let the world define who you are. Don't let the world define you. Really.
All right. Well, I love it. Well, thanks. I'm glad that you've had some positive comments about it, and congratulations on getting it done, because everybody talks about it and very few of us actually publish anything.
Yeah, what it really took for me, I was typing, and I'm okay typer. I'm not bad. I'm a better typer than I'm a writer. But when I started using Word and talking, using the microphone, it just fell out of me, which is really.
Yeah, that is one of the great secrets of the technology that we have now, isn't it? Is that we can actually speak into it, and something like Grok will change that around very quickly for you.
Oh, there's programs you can put on your computer, like AI Whisper, that will convert it and give you better punctuation than you have.
No. Absolutely, and it does. It allows you to get what you're thinking and what your messages out in another way. So that's cool. It's one of the things that I've benefited from too, is the transcripting process like that. Well, good. So you've been involved in some AI deployments recently. Tell me about a client project that you're working on that you're enjoying.
Client project I'm working on, oh my God, I have a few. One right now in particular is, and I just completed, there's a company that delivers 1,600 meals in Dubai. And they're like, prepackaged meals. And they're having trouble getting deliveries on time because of traffic. And they couldn't figure out how to get over their issue. And what I suggested was to connect it to a Waze type system. They have a distance system there in Dubai, but to connect it to a Waze type system and reroute the drivers. And they improved the delivery time and their success rate by 38%. So that was a huge win for them. I've done things as simple as helping a coach understand how to use AI and leverage it and mine Fathom, which happens to be a note taker. There's Read AI, Fathom, is a different
Sure.
one.
Yep.
Well, as I helped this coach in how to get set up for his next call and how to prospect and mine the data that you get in a transcript of recording a call. You can actually go in and ask it questions, and now static data becomes live, where you can go in and say, tell me how the call went, write me a follow-up letter. What are the to-dos left? Did this person seem truly interested, or were they just placating me? And you'd be surprised. But it's really good to get ready for the next call and to prep for, taking care of what you said you'd do and being successful at managing your prospects.
And so you're taking the transcript and you're putting that into ChatGPT, or what do you?
You can actually, in Fathom's instance, you can ask Fathom, it's called. Or you can just ask it a question and it'll come back and read the transcript through. You can copy off the transcript or copy the summary transcript and paste it into Chat or Claude or any large language model you use, Gemini, whatever. And then you can also say, hey, summarize this. Tell me, what were the hot points? Tell me what are the to-dos? Who's responsible for what? Ask it anything you want. It'll tell you. Did I talk too fast? Did that person who spoke the most? It'll tell you who was controlling the conversation.
Yeah, I love that. And so I built a tool like that for taking my Zoom calls that were prospect meetings. And then when people ask for a proposal, then I put that Zoom call into this custom GPT.
Yep.
And then it spits out an executive summary, an action list for them, even if they don't hire me, and then a good, better, best model, and then next action steps. And so I don't have to create any proposals anymore, which is, something that would take hours down to minutes.
You want to keep a human in the loop to make sure that you edit it, because we know that AI isn't 100%, it still hallucinates. But I hooked up a Zapier. If any of you know what Zapier is, it's basically a application program interface to connect two different applications that normally wouldn't talk to each other. And every time that Fathom records a meeting, it takes that summary transcript and copies it into a folder on Google Drive I call Zap.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I work with my CMO, or sometimes I'll go through it myself, but she and I will take a number of sales calls, the transcripts, and put them into ChatGPT, which is my preferred model, to each his own.
Yeah.
And I'll start asking it questions like, am I getting my point across? You talk about Steve Fuhrman and AI with intent. I do believe in implementing AI with intent, governance, ethics, standard operating procedures, guardrails, SOPs. But am I getting my message across properly? You know what I mean? Am I saying what needs to be said so that person understands what I'm, just because I understand it doesn't mean I'm articulating it so you can understand it.
Sure.
So I use that data and I'll go through and I'll dig, or we'll dig through it to help me be a better me, to help me get my message across better, to help me understand what they're really looking for, what keywords are working, you name it.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's beautiful. What is your approach in terms of making sure that we leverage the technology, but we also maintain the human aspect of being present in the activities?
I like to say human in the loop. That chief AI officer, we talk about that all the time, my fellow AI officers. But there's some things you can set and forget it once you've run it and tested it. But you really should A/B test a lot. And if you think you've tested it, test it some more. And then spot check it, every so often to make sure it's still producing. Because what you have today in a model is going to change as it learns more, as it's being trained more, as new versions come out, from thinking to, agent to writing code, whatever you're using. So my advice is to keep a human in the loop. If at not a minimum of every, couple of weeks for a short little internal application that's running. But for other applications, you can have it just run through it and say, yes, it's good to go, or no, it's not. So,
Yeah, that is a critical activity, is making sure that we're monitoring the activities of whatever we've turned loose on the world.
well, yeah, because that's, it's not here yet. But my fear is, I think when we're getting close to it, the actual agentic, a true autonomous agentic AI agent is right around the corner. It's not that far. I think the last stat was it's 50%, right. So we're getting there where it's moving towards that end. Will we get there? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what are you using right now in the intermediary for agents or that type of agent work?
So I've written now everybody has an agent. Now you can write an application. I wrote one the other day using AI Studio and Gemini,
Yeah.
where it's chaos to clarity. Basically, will help you schedule your task and your to-dos. It'll help you unclutter your life. It'll help you organize your day and prioritize your things that you have to get done. A simple prompt. I just say I have a lot of chaos in my life and I want to organize it. I prompt with something that's simply stupid and simple, and I got this great app that will actually do it. You ask you a bunch of questions, you put in the answers, and poof, it says, "Oh, you can't, have this be your priority because you're going to be out of the office at a doctor's appointment that day." So it takes all of that stuff into consideration. But I use Bolt.new. I use when I'm writing apps. I use N8N, Make for automations.
Sure.
Descript if I'm writing in or I'm trying to create bots. I'll use 11 Labs, or I'm doing voiceovers, things like that. 11 Labs,
Yep.
and Agen for avatars, things like that. But my agents now, it's you can use Claude artifacts, and it'll create you an agent. ChatGPT has an agent model. When 5.2 came out, it came out with an agent model, and I created one for coaches yesterday. An agent, actually.
All right. What does that agent look like?
It basically, is to help coaches and consultants come up with ways to make them help their clients better. Ways to organize their lives. I had to reread. I literally, like last night, was sitting on the couch. I'm like, oh yeah, I never really played with the agent version of ChatGPT, which is how I learned most of the things. My training and certifications is I play with them, and I always say to people, don't be afraid of it. Be curious.
Yeah.
Ask it, how can you help me? What can you do for me? And I basically just asked it to help me create a program, or an agent rather, that will help coaches solidify what things they can do better to help their clients be more efficient, grow faster, be more productive, measure their progress. And it came back with a whole slew of suggestions.
Nice.
And not fairly instantly. It took a little while for it to run up, but pretty quick. A lot quicker than I could have figured out.
Yeah. What do you think about this transition from our work being software based to to being agent based, and how long do you think that's going to take for that transition?
I think agent, like agentic, has this this connotation to it, like, ooh, this big cool thing, and it really is nothing more than just programming software. It's just that you don't really see the back end JSON code most of the time. You just see the words. So what AI has really, I think, or generative AI, I should say, large language models, has really done for us is take away this mystifying back end writing and code that the programmers and coders were good at, and I don't think it's wrong. And I think the better you are at actually being able to read code and write code, the quicker you're going to get your application done and get it more to the way that you like it, because it's AI. It's going to hallucinate a little bit. You're going to have to tweak it and iterate it till you get it to give you what you really wanted. But I think that software programming will still be around for a long time. I don't see it going anywhere. I think that the AI agents and the programming or writing apps is just going to get easier for the average person. Do I think they're going to be necessarily, industrial ready right now? Maybe not, but they're good for a lot of manual and mundane tasks that just suck you dry and eat up your time that we shouldn't be wasting our time on.
Yeah, that's a true statement there. Yes, what do you say to people that are who are not computer programmers, are not thinking like a piece of software and are running a business or doing a professional task, and how much should they figure out how to think like that?
Man, play with it. Go to AI Studio is probably that, and Claude Artifacts are probably two of the easiest ones I've found. If you go to Claude, if you have a paid version, you get the option, and you might even have a free version too. But there's an app there called Artifacts where you basically just tell it what you're trying to accomplish and what your end goal is and what you're trying to do, and it'll then just write you a program to do it. I created Space Invaders game the other day and Galaxy just because I wanted to see how hard it looked and acted just like the old games from the 70s.
Love that.
Really, really cool. And all I said was create me a game called Galaxy from the 70s. And it actually went back and it gave me the pictures of it, and it made all the right noises. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
They're getting better at taking the load off of us and putting it more onto the AI so we can leverage it better, which just enables us to do more, get more done faster, and be more efficient if we leverage it. But be curious is the best thing I can tell you. You're not going to break it. Get in there and ask a question. Say, no, I can't do that. Okay, great. What can you do?
Yeah. Right. I'm curious what you're hearing in the conversations with executives or business owners about why they haven't started integrating AI into their business and the workflow.
Oh my! Last year was the year of non-adoption, if you ask me. As much as everybody says, "Oh, we're all checking it out and adopting," and I think last year was, a lot of changes happened last year. A lot of, Gemini took over it, and ChatGPT took over it. Before you know it, here comes Grok and Manus, and there's all these different people vying for we're the best at whatever. And I think a lot of dust settled or is settling finally, where people are starting to go, I can't ignore it anymore. And there's a few reasons why. One is change management. It's hard. Humans are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
Been around in a company 20, 25 years. The last thing you want to do is start changing all your processes. So you really need, it's not a tech problem. It's an operations and an administrative issue. And the adoption rate only happens when the top C-level executives, the CEO and the executive team, decide, okay, here's what we're going to do for our company. Here's the goals we're going to set. Here's the testing we're going to do to make sure that it works properly. And we'll start small, start with a little project internally. But adoption rates, I think, are going to jump this year. I think people are realizing that, we can't ignore it. True story, I literally had an administrator of a township in front of his assistant administrator of the township say, I retire in 2 years. I was hoping to avoid all of this.
Didn't want to deal with it, huh?
Yeah, the assistant managers looked at him like, really? You dump this on me? And that's unfortunate, but that's indicative of a lot of the mindsets of people out there. They're like, a lot of it's noise. It's noise. It's not noise. It's real. And those that embrace it, those that use it to leverage their systems, to make their employees better, to train their employees, don't be worried about scaring them off like they're going to lose their jobs. Upscale them, train them, get them to be better at what they do, utilizing AI to make them better, faster, more efficient, more productive. All of you will prosper.
No, I think we're aligned on that. I think it's true. These technological shifts. It's like saying, "Well, I hope I could retire before I had to start learning how to send email."
Yeah, this is no different now. It's just AI, just artificial intelligence, the robots.
Yeah, well, that's good. I love your attitude and I love your perspective on it. So, if this is going to be more of the year of adoption, what do you see that will be happening kind of in the shift that we're in for this year?
It's actually already happening. I mean, what is today, the 12th? Yeah, today's the 12th of January. I've got 3 proposals. I've got 4 workshops already scheduled for this year between now and the end of February. And I'm getting lots of calls and lots of action on, hey, what do you think about this product? What's your thoughts on how do we automate this process? So I'm already seeing it kind of happening now where people are coming out of the woodwork. And I know the beginning of the year, people are all, let's go, it's the new 2020, whatever. I get that. But I just see a difference in people taking the time to do their diligence and do it properly and to actually implement AI with intent, not just willy-nilly get AI sprawl. If you check out my website, I got a blog, and one of them is all about AI sprawl, which is when Susie installs ChatGPT and John installs Gemini, and then someone else installs Gamma. Before you know it, you got all these different apps running everywhere. And your data is just, being sent out to the world. There's no governance, no guardrails. So you don't want that to happen. But yeah, I'm seeing it happen already, is my point.
Well, that's great. And I love that analogy there, the shadow AI, right? It's like if the management doesn't lead, then there's going to be a lot of stuff going on that you're not in control of.
Yeah, well, you can't leave it to your employees or to the tech department to come up with what's right for the company, because, it's a business decision on where and when and how do we implement and what do we implement in AI? How is it going to benefit the organization as a whole? What's the end goal? I'm also a certified business coach with Scaling Up. So I think about starting at the end goal and working your way backwards. So what do I want my end result to be? Great. And I want that by when? In a year, 2 years, 3 years, in second quarter, whatever it is these days, in like a nanosecond, but whatever, and then work it backwards and, okay, what I got to do to get to that goal, and then go backwards. What I got to do to make it to that goal, and then break it down into steps and pieces. Make sure you take the time to create standard operating procedures and set usage policies. Everybody's website, you should have a usage policy and the standard operating procedures listed there. Their core values should be listed there.
Yep.
And, a lot of people just don't take the time, that too much of a pain. I don't got time to do this. But use AI to help you.
Absolutely.
You need an operating procedure because you're an architecture firm. Say, I need a standard operating procedure on what's on for my architectural firm on what's allowed and what's not allowed for data sharing or for compliance or whatever it is.
I love it. Yep. The leadership's got to lead. And it takes a little bit of planning. Got to get some people together, and then that way there's some structure there for the business.
Right, and that's where chief AI officers and other AI strategists like myself come into play. We can help guide you. Yeah. We can help give you the direction you need that you just don't have, so you can get a good, secure, solid foundation set up.
I love it. Well, Steve, I appreciate you taking some time to share that with me today. If people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
They can go to www.4pillarcoach.com. You can find my book on Amazon. Just Get Up and Drive.
I like it, and I appreciate you sharing your insights with me today, and look forward to catching up with you again soon, Steve.
Thanks, Emanuel. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Well, I love that idea. If you haven't started interacting with any of the AI tools yet, just get in there and start playing, build a video game, or see how it can help you with your schedule and your transcripts. But play with it and know you're not going to break it. Hope you got value out of this conversation I had with Steve Fuhrman today, and I hope that you take some time to dig into some AI tools and find ways for it to win some of your time back from the tedious activities that you're engaged in, and that with that time you continue to upskill, that you spend that time with your friends and family, and that you get outside away from the screens into nature. This is Emanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.